Hey everyone, this is Norm Farrar, aka the Beard Guy here, and welcome to another Lunch with Norm, the e-commerce and Amazon FBA podcast. If you were checking out our WhatsApp group, I am really excited about this. I don't usually post anywhere about an upcoming podcast. Usually that's Kelsey, but this is something very close to my heart, and that's about travel. So we're going to be discussing game-changing travel using AI. So, how can AI help us with travel plans? How can AI help business owners? And how do you think that AI can transform the way we plan and book travel over the next 5 to 10 years? So, welcome to another Lunch with Norm, the e-commerce and Amazon FBA podcast.
Lunch with Norm. Lunch with Norm. Lunch with
Okay, if you're listening, I already see we have a bunch of listeners on. Let's wake up that WhatsApp group and tell them we got something really cool on for today's topic, and that is travel with AI. In fact, it's game-changing travel using AI. Our guest is the founder and CEO of Matador Network, the world's #1 media brand for modern adventures, and creator of the free AI travel assistant guide Geek. Matador is a top ranking travel brand on TikTok, and its videos are viewed more than 140 million times per month. And first time guest, and we're going to be talking to Ross Borden in just a second. But first, a word from our sponsor. Facing cash flow challenges with your e-commerce business? Discover Viably, your ultimate financial ally. From real-time sales data integrations to immediate funding access, Viably is here to support you. Plan your growth with their free tool for online sellers and engage with specialists whenever you need. Extend your cash flow with Viably. All right. So I can't wait to start talking to Ross. But first, where is Mr. Kelsey?
Hello. Good to see you.
Good to see you. You know, and I'm not joking. For anybody listening, I watched a Rush documentary the other night. And I know that, like, when you were growing up, when you were playing hockey, I played a little trick on you because Neil Peart looked, different camera angle, looked exactly like you, to the point where I've got a picture where if I posted it, people couldn't tell if it was Neil back in the day or you. And it was, in fact, you smoking a cigarette, which your hockey team coaches really didn't like because nobody playing hockey should be smoking. So,
Yeah, I think I actually made that my Facebook profile.
You got in a little bit of trouble. But the Rush documentary I saw on what was it, on Prime? Wow. I mean, first of all, I love Rush. We went to them down in Florida.
First concert.
Yeah. And I can't believe because they kept showing pictures of Neil Peart back in the day, and I'm going, certain angles, this is Kelsey. It's Kelsey. And it's hilarious how close you look like them. And if you have the picture, I don't know if it's still kicking around, you can throw it up there, but that's exactly what you look like.
Yeah, I'd have to find that out, but it's very specific angles where it kind of comes out. But yeah. Yeah, it's pretty crazy to have that as a doppelganger. But yeah, just want to quickly say hi to our Beard Nation. We've got Steve joining us, and Rad. Steve sounds like a fellow Rush fan as well, so good to hear that. And Drip Fit, good to see you. And yeah, we've got a kind of different kind of topic today. We're talking about game-changing travel with AI. So check it out. We've got a great giveaway as well that we're going to be giving to a lucky winner. So that's all going to be happening shortly. And we've got some updates with some events. And my camera's been glitching out today, so I'm not sure. I'm going to be going in and out.
Kind of look better that way.
But anyways, do you want to take away some of the events that are happening?
Yeah, sure. It's so funny looking at you. Yeah, I could say so much. But first of all, Titan events coming up February, last week of February, and anybody interested, you can always go to the Titan network.com and check it out. But that's in Cancun. from what I hear, I've never been, but from what I've heard, it's a fantastic event. Tons of people, lots of learning, and lots of fun. The other thing I want to talk to you about is CMS is up again this year. You can always go to Collective Mind Society, and we've got a wait list going. We've already got about 25 people that signed up for the wait list. We're taking 16 people. So usually when you have a wait list, when it comes down to the commitment. So it's $1,000 to put down. It's roughly going to be between $4,500 and $5,500 for the whole event. So this is not an Amazon event. It's for like-minded entrepreneurs that want to experience a once-in-a-lifetime experience. Last year we did Formula One, and we had a great time. The last thing I want to talk about is something that I've been working on for about a year and a half with Taylor Offer and Aaron Harbage, and that's our retail course. So the retail course is finally up and running. If you want to join the retail course, it's roughly $2,000. However, we have a coupon code that you can get it for 50% off. So $1,000, and it's in depth. I think it's the best retail course out there, but I'm a little biased. Okay. That being said, anything else, Kels?
I think you covered it. If you are interested in joining our WhatsApp group, the links are in the captions and descriptions of these videos. So just check those out, and make sure you sign up for our newsletter that goes out every Monday with curated tips, stories from Norm's past, and some fun AI pictures, I would say.
I think so. Very consistent. All right. So if you have any questions or comments, throw them over in the comments section. I'm expecting we'll have tons. If you're a traveler, you're going to love this episode. So sit back, relax, grab a cup of coffee. I know I am grabbing one right now. Enjoy the episode. Welcome, Ross.
Yeah, thanks for having me, Norm. Excited to be here.
Oh, that's great. Yeah, I love talking travel and AI. I can't wait for this topic. One thing I want to just mention, we've talked about using translation apps in the past. And, the one Mr. Noodle, when the a Chinese company tried to bring it over to North America, they translated it wrong, and they brought over these ramen noodles called not Mr. Noodle, not Mrs. Noodle, but Soup for Sluts. So that was one. This is another one I got the other day. I literally got this yesterday, and it's a drink. It's just pressed wild berries. Okay, so blueberries, but they're trying to stress that this is a natural drink. However, their translation goes real fruit, never natural flavors. Does that make sense? Oh my God.
I think maybe in the age of AI, there will be fewer and fewer funny translation bloopers across, every product, every service, because it's getting pretty amazing. I've been amazed. So we'll talk about Geek in a minute, but basically it's an AI travel agent that we deliver across the large meta platforms. And just like ChatGPT, it speaks 50 languages fluently. And it's just amazing to watch it effortlessly flowing in Japanese with one user, Hebrew with another user, Brazilian Portuguese with another user, Mandarin. And we've heard from we have an international influencer team who are, huge travel creators from different countries. And they're even saying it's very articulate in Mandarin. So not only is it not making silly mistakes like that, it's actually said to be articulate in all these different languages. Pretty amazing.
Do you have, I'm just kind of curious, we never talked about this prior to the podcast, but do you have any templates or PDFs on how to use AI for travel? I'm just thinking that maybe we could post this a little bit after the podcast.
Yeah, I'd be happy to provide some tips. We've been on this journey now for almost exactly 1 year. We kind of got early access to the LLM, the large language model at OpenAI, same language model as ChatGPT. And I think like most people are pretty amazed at the power and speed of it when we first started playing with it. It feels like we've had, generative AI and ChatGPT for longer than a year, but it's actually, that was even before it launched. I think it launched maybe in April. So this was like mid-February of 2023. And we started, playing with it. And in this journey of building the #1 AI in travel, we have learned a ton about, sort of best practices, how to get the most out of generative AI in general. We're using it across our entire business, which some of your listeners might be interested in, but obviously Guide Geek being sort of the core product that we've launched, we've learned a ton of sort of, the shortcomings to even like the scary macro things. And I do think, even though I could be considered like an AI evangelist, I have noticed some things that we need to be very careful as humans with this technology, because it doesn't always do exactly what you want. And one of the first things that I learned is like the more advanced and sophisticated the model that you're using, the less it is likely to follow your instructions and your prompts. And that's kind of counterintuitive. You'd think like, okay, this is the more advanced model, it's going to do exactly what I want and nothing I don't want. And we found kind of the opposite. So if you expand that out 10 years or even 5 years, I think, generative AI is something we should be very careful of, because it's very powerful and not always going to follow instructions. But I like to think that for travel, a pretty harmless enclave of Gen AI, and it's just cutting through the noise and helping us find the places we want to go, the places we want to stay, eat, explore, without, days of planning. It can cut down to like, minutes of planning.
So back in January, you probably started with travel poems, something like that.
Yeah.
So let's talk about AI and how it can help plan your travel. I think this is amazing. So all of us, or a lot of us that are listening right now, are Amazon sellers. Most of us travel to multiple events every year, and everybody wants to have an easier way to book and plan their travel.
Yeah. Yeah. So, I mean, if you think about the travel industry, it has needed a big innovation for a very long time. The last big innovation the travel industry experienced was the mid-90s when the OTAs launched. So that's like Expedia, Booking. That was the big jump forward, was that, oh, you can book your own flights and hotels without a travel agent. It's hard to even imagine now, but in 1990, you needed a travel agent to actually book a flight. So that was a big leap forward. But since then, almost 30 years, there's been no real innovation. Sure, we get inspired differently. Maybe we see something on Instagram or TikTok, and then we're like, man, I really want to go to Bacalar, Mexico. It looks incredible. But then after that, the planning, the research, and ultimately the booking is a slog of visiting many, many different sites, trying to piece together an itinerary, trying to look across the internet for the best deals on flights, hotels. Then you book, and then you're like, all right, where are we going to plan to have dinner? Or what are the activities to do? All of this is a very, very old school process of like hunting and pecking through multiple websites and piecing things together. So when we started playing with Gen AI via OpenAI's LLM last year, around the same time of year as now, almost exactly a year ago, we loved the idea of basically the fact that this model has read the entire internet. It's read every restaurant review, every hotel review. It's watched every video. And then we figured out what are the holes, right? What are the things that it doesn't have? It doesn't have, especially back then, it didn't have real-time access to flights and flight data. It didn't have real-time access to hotels and hotel data. Same with vacation rentals, Airbnbs, currency, conversion, weather. So we've plugged in all those APIs, and then we released it into the wild on the large meta platforms. So we launched Guide Geek not only on our website, but if you go to guidegeek.com, you can just scan a QR code and it will open on WhatsApp if you have WhatsApp, or even on Instagram. Our Instagram handle is guidegeek.ai. And we've built over 1 million followers on Instagram very quickly because people are actually just chatting with the AI inside of Instagram. And then we just launched a couple weeks ago on Facebook Messenger as well. So that's a whole nother swath of users talking, chatting with the AI. So you can think of this as like you have this friend who is lived in Barcelona all their life, and they are an expert at Barcelona. They're the guy to talk to if you're going to Barcelona, where to stay, best neighborhoods, best places to eat, markets, holidays, all kinds of advice for travel to Barcelona. And it's like texting with that friend, except that friend is not just an expert in Barcelona. He's an expert at the entire world, every single city on earth, and has access to real-time flight and hotel data. So that's kind of how you can think about Guide Geek. And now it's just blossomed into this monster. We have hundreds of thousands of active users, on track to hit 1 million active users in early April. And then we're, doing a whole bunch of stuff, kind of building the tracks as the train speeds forward, if you will, on, feature development, monetization, everything like that.
So when somebody wants to go to Barcelona, they just punch in the information. Do you ask for specific airlines, or is it like an Expedia? You have an API that goes and explores all the different airlines, the hotels, the restaurants. What does it do?
Yeah, so we work with Skyscanner for flights, so it's going across every airline website plus all the OTAs. So it's basically searching, all of the flights on the internet for your desired dates. And again, there's nothing to punch in. I think even, we're used to going to Expedia and going into the calendar function and putting like May 1st to May 10th. I think all of that is going to look very old school. So Guide Geek is 100% natural language. So you're just chatting with it and you're just saying, you're typing May 1st to 10th. We're actually about to add voice, so you can just start talking to Guide Geek instead of even typing. And it will understand you. It will piece together your dates, your departure and arrival airport, whether you want round trip or one way, whether you want business class or economy. And then once it has those critical pieces of information, it will go out and it will show you best, fastest, and cheapest, 3 options. And each of those options has a link. You click through on the Guide Geek link, and that will take you to our booking partner. And ultimately, you'll decide if you want to actually book it or come back later, or keep searching. So yeah, and then as you are chatting and conversing with it more, it's learning about you as a traveler. So it's learning, okay, this person's a luxury traveler, or he's a foodie, or he loves adventure. And it will start keeping track of all those things so that it can make better recommendations every time you come back to it.
That's pretty interesting. So does it also allow you to track your frequent miles, any loyalty points that you have?
So we're starting to keep track of that as well. So if you say I'm a Delta Diamond member, I'm a Diamond Medallion member on Delta, Guide Geek will start to prioritize routes and trip ideas that have, for example, nonstop flights from your home airport to the places that you want to go, where Delta has a nonstop flight. So that's kind of stage 2. That's some of the stuff that we're working on right now. But, hotel and airline loyalty is a big part of travel, especially for, as you pointed out, a lot of your listeners are business travelers. I myself am a huge business traveler. And so we're all looking, not only for the best deal, but also for opportunities for free upgrades or to build points on the credit card or the airline or the hotel that we are loyal to. So yeah, all of that's coming soon.
I'm really curious if you can do your tracking for the airlines. So you say that you're tracking the Expedias of the world. You've got the Deltas. So what about the bet? I subscribe to a different company, and it's a premium. You have to pay it every year. But for business class, they'll send me over if I tell where I'm interested in going. They'll send me over the next month or 2 or 3 any really down and dirty deals for business class. Is that something that you can do with this as well?
Yeah, I mean, we're going to start doing that because we're tracking all the flight data and using AI to scour the internet for great deals above and beyond what we see on Skyscanner. And since we know your home airport without you even telling us or filling out a form or clicking through a bunch of pages, we're just going to learn, all right, this guy's always flying out of Toronto. Clearly, he's based in Toronto. And then when we see a deal come up from Toronto to the new airport in Tulum, a smoking deal at $109, we can send you a proactive message on WhatsApp and say, heads up that there's this amazing deal. You've asked about Mexico before, and we know you're based in Toronto. There's a deal that probably won't last long that's on that exact route.
All right. Now, building out. So we talked about this could be, yes, I'm Canadian. We talked about, here we go again. You're going to tell I'm Canadian. We've talked about the overview, but you've talked about building this travel assistant to work for you, and you're talking about it gets to know you. How does one go around? How many times am I going to say about in a sentence? How do you start building the travel assistant?
Yeah, so I mean, the first step was just connecting OpenAI's system to our system. So connecting the language model to our software, and then connecting that software to the messaging, the Meta platform. So WhatsApp, Instagram, and Facebook Messenger. When we started, everyone knows if you've played at all with AI, it all starts with the prompt. The better the prompt, the better the output of the AI. If it's just an AI for everything, it's not going to be as good at giving travel advice and information. So the first things that we did was like, what is the ultimate prompt that's not too long? It's not a tangled spider web of instructions, but it keeps the AI extremely focused on being a great travel guide and travel advisor. That's all we wanted to do. It doesn't need to give recipes for cooking. It doesn't need to give advice on constructing a house. It is specifically a travel advisor. So that's the first thing we did. And then a lot of what the software that we've developed over the last year is really kind of like, I consider it like air traffic control. So when someone says, I want a flight from Toronto to, Mexico City on May 5th, coming back the 10th, that's actually not going to OpenAI. That's going to Skyscanner. So our system has to recognize that, because if you send that to OpenAI, it's going to say, well, typically, I don't have access to real-time flights, but typically there are flights on Canada Airlines from, on that route every Wednesday or whatever, but that's not very helpful. So our system recognizes that's actually a flight request. Let's send that to this API. This is, you say, what's the weather going to be in Mexico City on Monday? That's a weather request. That's going to go to our weather partner. You say, what's the conversion between Canadian dollars and Mexican pesos right now, today? That's not going to OpenAI. That's going to our currency conversion partner. So a lot of what we've done is that air traffic control. And then the other thing is that, my company that I started 17 years ago is not Geek. Geek is a brand new product that we just launched. My company is Matador Network. So we're a global publisher for travel and adventure. We have one of the biggest travel websites on the internet. We have 16 million social followers. If you find at Matador Network, you follow us anywhere, you'll see us. We have 90,000 articles on our website that we know are very high quality. They're up to date. And so one of the big innovations is now we scanned our entire website and we're prioritizing the data and content on Matador as we answer the questions for people talking to Guide Geek. So it's that private data set gives us even more specialization and expertise in travel because it's backed up by about 95,000 articles and videos on our website.
So I've noticed when you go to the plugin section, you can use Expedia, or you can use a bunch of other travel plugins, but this sounds like you're incorporating everything. So it's an Expedia on steroids. I love it. so when you were talking about the currency conversion, excursions, restaurants, it's an all-in-one platform, which you use 14 different APIs.
I think we're around 10
Oh,
APIs.
10. Okay. And on top of that, the prompt engineering is so important. And just like you mentioned, you've already figured that out. Not too long, just like the Goldilocks, right? Just right. And if we have, like, once we plug into your plugin, then all we have to do is ask it in natural English, and we'll get the results. Am I summing that up correctly?
Yeah, correct. And just to be clear, Guide Geek is not an app and it's not a plugin, although we'll probably put it in the store, in the OpenAI store. But it's right now, it's just AI free flowing on the Meta platform. So you just go to guidegeek.com and then you decide if you want to connect on Instagram, on WhatsApp. I would recommend WhatsApp. That's where most of our users are.
Right.
If you have WhatsApp on your phone already, I just think it's the most elegant messaging platform out there. And you'll see, you just say, hi, Guide Geek, and it's going to be like, bam, this is what I can do. Ask me anything about anywhere in the world, and I'm ready to help you. So yeah, you don't have to use a plugin. You don't need to go to ChatGPT. You don't need to download an app. You just go to guidegeek.com and scan the QR code, and then you're chatting with the AI.
Ah, very good. Okay. I'm glad you cleared that up. I was going to be looking for it on the in the plugin section.
Yeah. I mean, eventually it'll probably be a plugin, but we wanted to, even that to me is friction, right? If you have to go there, you have to use a plugin. That's like what we're trying to avoid with, with why I think using a plugin with Expedia, for example, is still clunky. Very few people are doing that, but we're just unleashing this AI that's a free travel agent for everyone on these platforms that already have billions of users. And you don't need to go to a website. I know most people spend most of their time in these three apps: WhatsApp, Instagram, and Facebook Messenger, chatting with friends. And it's easy to just like jump back and forth, like, hey, let's plan this ski trip to Canada. Like, oh, let me just ask Guide Geek where we should stay, or how far the drive is, or build me a custom itinerary, or ask where if we're flying into Alberta, is there a great Mexican restaurant with a great tequila selection? Like, it's going to know every single thing you ask it.
It's crazy. Okay. So we're at the bottom of the hour. If this is the first time you're listening to the podcast, we do something special at the top of the hour. It's called Wheel of Kelsey. So Wheel of Kelsey is a giveaway we do every single podcast. Today, we have a great giveaway. If you're interested in joining, it's hashtag Wheel of Kelsey, or tag 2 people, and you'll get a second entry. So today's giveaway, Ross, what is today's giveaway?
Today's giveaway. So we work with many outdoor brands like the North Face, Patagonia, Yeti. We have an awesome Matador swag pack. This is our brand here for Matador. So we send these out to influencers, partners, and would be happy to ship a Matador box with some fresh Yeti gear to any of your listeners. So that is our part of the giveaway today.
All right. Fantastic. And that's only available. That part of the giveaway is only available in the US and Canada. If you win it and you're in Canada, you also have to include your phone number, but we'll talk about that later on. Also, we're going to add to that, if you'd like either a press release or the Tariff Terminator, which with Tariff Terminator, we save 80%. And I say I want to be completely transparent. I'm a co-founder of Honey Worldwide, which has Tariff Terminator, and we save Amazon sellers or e-commerce sellers money on their HTS codes. We find that 80% of people are spending way too much on them. They just have the wrong code. So those items are up for grabs today in the giveaway. So hashtag Wheel of Kelsey, tag 2 people, you'll get a second entry. Also, let's have a word from our sponsor. This episode of Lunch with Norm is sponsored by VAA Philippines. Looking for a high quality virtual assistant for your business? With the rigorous screening, intensive Amazon and Walmart training, and ongoing professional development, get the peace of mind with skill and motivated virtual assistants for a long-term working relationship. Hire through VAA today. And now let's get back to the show. All right, we are back. Also, I want to mention if you have any travel related questions, throw them into the comment section. If you have something, if you're checking it out, actually, the Guide Geek, or if you've already used it, let us know. I'd be curious to see what you think. And I'm sure we got to have questions. So please put them in there, and we've got Ross here to answer it. Okay, so let's talk about the next thing. And that is there anything specific for business owners that you can use that can use your app?
Yeah,
specific questions, specific, what do you see them
Yeah.
using?
I mean, most of your audience is it sounds like is Amazon sellers. So I would say if you are traveling to I use Guide Geek a lot when I'm traveling for business. You know, not all places when I'm traveling for business. Obviously, I want to meet people. I want to go to great dinners. I want to go to great drinks. Not every place is like the best for every occasion, or maybe I know something about the person that, you know, they appreciate fine dining or they love dive bars. So you can be really, really specific in that regard to say, hey, you know, I'm in Montreal or I'm in Chicago. What's the best burger in Chicago? What's the coolest dive bar in Chicago that's within a 1 mile radius of my hotel? So, you know, Guide Geek is going to know all of those things. Again, outside of Guide Geek and even outside of travel, I would really encourage your listeners to experiment with Gen AI in general. If you guys are writing headlines for ads on Amazon, you know, just using ChatGPT, it's pretty incredible how much time it will save you. Every single department at my company, Matador, is using Gen AI for something. Because if you can give it a good question, it will probably give you a whole bunch of great answers. And then you can maybe, if you're doing a social post or you're writing a blog post, it will just cut down the amount of time that it takes to do that. So if any of your listeners are not experienced yet with using Gen AI to grow their business, to do more with less, I would highly recommend checking it out.
Okay. I'm kind of curious. If I were to type in, let's say I have an itinerary going across Toronto, Montreal, Quebec City, and I wanted to follow, I don't even know if there are any Guy Fiero's DDDs, triple Ds. Would it give me the information? You know, are there any, what triple D Guy Fiero restaurant should I go to?
Yeah, 100%. It would know that. It'll even know, like if you said, I'm going to Vietnam and I want to go on an itinerary that Anthony Bourdain would approve of. It will know all the places that Anthony Bourdain's eaten in Vietnam, and it will base your itinerary around that. So it will definitely know where Guy Fieri's restaurants are across your whatever itinerary that you want it to go to. Even maybe like show me everywhere in Chicago that Guy Fieri had eaten at in one of his shows. It would also build you a custom restaurant guide for that.
And hotels. So I'm kind of picky when I go to hotels. I always want to be away from the elevator, away from the bloody ice machine. I want double pillows and double coffee. That's my assistant. Like when she books my hotels, that's what's on. You know, she makes sure, and then she checks up with them prior to me arriving. So is that something that that the program will or the app will get to understand over a period of time, your personality, your travel habits?
Yeah, for sure. I think it might be over promising on my part to say that you could say what rooms at the Marriott Bonvoy, whatever, are like not near the ice machine. That would be pretty next level. But certainly it could help you choose, say, hey, I'm looking for a hotel in Chicago that's between $200 and $300 a night, where I'm looking for a king suite and what are the best recommendations near this conference at this address that I'm going to? Or if you just name the conference, it's going to know where it is. So that'll start with some really high level, great recommendations. And then maybe your assistant could call, or you could call and say, hey, I'm booking this, but I want to be in a room that's not near an elevator or an ice machine or something.
Right.
Like that.
Okay. And, oh, gotta forgive me. I'm old. I had another thought, but I lost it. It'll come back after the podcast, of course. But again, it's just thinking about the different scenarios. I just saw a question from Rad about looking for a campsite. So you could book the information about the campsite, correct?
Yeah, it's actually great for finding campsites, and campsite information can be pretty tough to find. Even, it might, you might say, do I need reservations for this campsite? Or, is this campsite likely to be full when I'm going there in the beginning of June? It'll have great data on that, because again, it's read every single review of that campsite. And maybe someone's like, man, we showed up with no reservations and we couldn't get in. It's going to understand that. It's going to suggest that you make reservations. So it's a really great idea for any kind of like road trips, or you can say, I'm doing a road trip from point A to point B. Build me an itinerary, recommend the best places to stay, sleep, and explore along the way, along the fastest route for this road trip. So it's super great for any like outdoor activities, road trips, national parks, stuff like that. All super helpful for Guide Geek.
And I want to make sure that everybody knows there's no money to made for Lunch with Norm podcast. It's completely free. So the only reason we're talking about this, first of all, I think it's really brilliant what you've done with bringing it all together. I think that was lacking in many of these travel sites that are out there. It's, it's very, very specific. So I love what you've been talking about. I finally remembered, by the way, the question. This might be a suggestion, you probably already thought of it, but what I would love to see incorporated into this would be all the different, so if you ask a question, what's the best card, or what's the best way of matching points or getting points, maximizing your points on your different credit cards? So I know a lot of different travel channels do that, or the digital nomads will say, well, if you use American Express here and use this over here, you'll get an extra bonus of X number of points.
Yeah.
Is that something that you can incorporate later on? Is that on the radar?
Yeah, for sure. And we've seen thousands of people asking, the loyalty programs and credit card programs as it relates to travel can be extremely complicated, and it's almost like they make it confusing on purpose so that they can brag about all the benefits, but they're kind of like, if you ever figure out how to use those benefits. So a lot of people, we've seen actually thousands of people asking Guide Geek for tips on which cards are the best for travel, especially like based on them. So this goes back to like, the better your question, the better the answer. So instead of saying, what are the best cards for travel, you could say, what are the best cards for travel if I usually fly Delta? Or what are the best cards for travel if I live in Toronto? And, based on the flights and the Toronto as a hub for different, maybe it'll say Aeroplan from, Air Canada or something like that, because you're flying out of Toronto. So the more specific you can be, the better. But a lot of people are using Guide Geek to figure out like, what's the best way into points or loyalty or free miles or upgrades if I already have this card, or if I'm typically flying on this airline, which card should I get if I want a lot of points and loyalty miles? So yeah, Guide Geek can even be sort of a personal agent for helping you navigate the complex world of credit card and rewards points.
I just had a horrible experience. Anybody on the podcast knows this horrible situation with WestJet. Never use them again, ever. If I wanted to contact customer service, which they don't answer their phone, but if I wanted to talk to a good company and get customer service, maybe I'm stranded, or maybe there's a problem with the ticket. if I asked it, would it provide me with the proper customer service, either their social media or their phone, or can
Yeah.
it do something like that?
Yeah, very likely. I've used it for that. Sometimes similarly, like if I want to take like my dog on a plane, you need to like fill out a form, or if you're gonna put a minor, like I'm sending my son to LA and then his uncle's gonna pick him up or whatever it is. There's a form you need to fill out. There's some sort of like thing that you need to alert the airline that you're gonna be traveling with an animal, traveling with a child, having I have a 9-month-old daughter now, and it's like I'm not going to buy her an entire airplane seat, but for most of the flights we're on, I need to say infant in lap. And these things are like a needle in a haystack, finding them on delta.com. So it's actually really great for that kind of stuff as well. Little nitty gritty questions about travel with airlines or hotels where, yeah, I know 1,000 times I've been in that situation where you're like on hold forever, or you're on their website and you can't even find the right number to call or the right form to fill out. So it's also could be definitely helpful for that.
Another thing, while you're talking about pets, and I know there's different rules for different countries, but I used to live in Hawaii, and people would come over, they bring cats or they bring their dogs, and they show up thinking, oh, they're going to take them on holiday with them, and they find out that they have to be quarantined for 90 days.
Yeah.
So that's another thing that you could probably easily find if, about a country is, or a state. Can I bring my cat or dog, to Hawaii?
Or even if you're on a road trip, we have a lot of dog owners, especially finding like off leash, trails or beaches, like where dogs are even allowed or where dogs are allowed off leash. It's actually great for people traveling with pets, whether it's air or road trips. Pet friendly hotels, pet friendly restaurants. A lot of the restaurants and hotels now that are pet friendly will say it somewhere on their website, or it will be in a review. Hey, we brought our dog and they were totally cool about it, and even had a dog bed in the room. Like that was absorbed by OpenAI, so the AI is going to know all about it.
And I'm just going down a different rabbit hole right now. So I love Formula One. I like going to Formula One races. The problem is wherever the Formula One is, that whatever city they show up in, prices go through the roof. So
Right.
I am scouring the internet for hours and hours and hours for best prices at hotels or bed and breakfast or whatever it is. If I were to type that in with the F1 weekend with the specific dates, will it scour it for me and come up with options?
Yeah, for sure. Because it's live data for hotels. So if it says there's a hotel available for $150 and you click on it, it's actually going to go to a booking link and you can book it right then.
Fantastic. By the way, is that how you make your money?
We are making money with that. If someone books, we do make money, but it's not enough money. I mean, this is going to be a new 7-figure business for us this year. And that's not where most of that money is coming from. So our business model, and one of the reasons we can keep Guy Geek free for everyone, is that we work with, airlines, hotels, and especially tourism boards. And we believe that all of the above will want to have their own AIs based on their name, their brand, their content, their likeness, their strengths and weaknesses, in the next 2 years. And so we have perfected our technology, and now we're offering that as a white label solution, kind of like a SaaS platform, so that a state tourism board in the United States or Destination Canada up there in Canada or Visit Toronto can actually have a white label version of Guide Geek, and as a complete new way of reaching and influencing travelers. So we believe this is the next platform. So in other words, first there was search, then there was social, now there's AI. So it'll be the third big platform. And we are already signing up dozens of tourism boards, hotel brands, and now a couple airlines coming soon that want their own AI. And
Oh,
so,
fantastic.
so we think this will be a multi-million-dollar business over the next couple of years, and completely different from what we do. Matador in general, we do a lot of advertising. We do branded content. We do custom video projects. We've got a team of 50 people making videos. So, AI is totally new to us in the last year, and this will be a new revenue stream that we're really excited about. But we do believe that, just as much as the world will be dominated by the huge AIs like ChatGPT, it will be equally dominated by subject specific and even destination specific AI. So that if you go to New York City, you'll want to use like the New York City AI that's got an API for Broadway shows, and it's got like the newest museum openings, and it's all that specialized data. So we're able to scan their entire website daily. So if you're like, what's happening in Austin, Texas this weekend? If you're chatting with the Austin AI, it will know because it will be scanning the Visit Austin website, but it will also have all the strengths of hotels, Airbnbs from Matador's site, all the kind of like other real-time data that we've got.
Are you guys out of Austin?
No, I was just using it as an example.
Oh, okay. Every tech company seems to be out of Austin nowadays.
Yeah, there's a lot of tech hub in Austin. I'm based in Marin County, so other side of the Golden Gate Bridge from San Francisco.
Okay. All right. Very good. The other tech side. Okay. Yes. So you've got 140 million views per month on TikTok. Have you been able to, I'm just kind of trying to figure this out because I can't see a way that you're using it for TikTok Shop, but are you using this for TikTok Shop?
Not yet, although I think we've got a couple going live. We do gear reviews at Matador. So like best backpacks for like infants that, have your kid in your backpack, stuff like that a lot of travelers are looking for. And I have just seen, and I'm sure you guys have too, you guys probably have your finger on the pulse even closer than I do. I've just seen the dominance of TikTok Shop videos in my personal FYP page on TikTok. So we've got a couple coming out soon. What's been your experience? Are you guys seeing a ton of transactions coming from TikTok Shop?
It's up and down depending on how well people are using it, if they're using it. But I know some of these influencers are making bank. Just one influencer this year, probably about 7 months ago, she's at $1 million a month now. She's making from TikTok Shop. Yeah,
that's crazy.
It's crazy.
To me, it's like, it's almost too much of a good thing for the consumers who are just like trying to be on TikTok to be entertained or informed. It's like, I don't think I need to see another ad for like a Korean sunscreen. Like I've seen like 700 and I'm not liking them. I'm not like telling the algorithm, like I'm not even watching the video all the way through. I'm like, oh my God, another sunscreen TikTok Shop video. So I think they need to be careful that they don't piss people off and people start going back to Instagram Reels because it seems like a bit intense right now.
I would agree with that. And I see that with, if you don't have premium for your YouTube, it's just, and Facebook, every second post is something to do with, merchandise or monetizing it. But for now, I look at it, and I think a lot of people that are listening look at it as Amazon 2012. Where it was wide open, anything you touch could make money as long as you put a little bit of effort into it.
Yeah. Yep.
Okay. Is there anything else we should be talking about that I didn't touch on?
I don't think so. If anyone came in late, check out guidegeek.com, and that's where you connect for free to the AI and give it a shot. Let us know what you think, but and definitely keep me posted on who wins the giveaway, and we'll fire out that
you'll find out right now.
Oh, awesome.
Okay. So just stay tuned. You're going to see the Wheel of Kelsey live. So I'll give you 30 seconds. I'm going to do a readout live, but if you have not put in hashtag Wheel of Kelsey or tagging 2 people to get a second entry, we are giving a giveaway today. It's awesome. It's a swag bag that includes the Matador products as well as some Yeti products that are in there. Plus, it's either a press release or a tariff terminator. So while you're typing in that information, I'm going to do a live read. Where is it? Here it is. Okay. So this is about seller basics. Hey, Amazon sellers, ever faced with account suspensions, ASIN hiccups, or IP headaches? Introducing Seller Basics, your Amazon accounts guardian, with just $99 per month, or with the code NORM, $89 a month. Seller Basics offers a dedicated team to shield your business from these challenges. Plus, this membership offers free legal consultations from seasoned e-commerce attorneys. There's no long-term contracts, and you can cancel with just a month's notice. View Seller Basics as your Amazon accounts health plan, and you can check out Seller Basics at sellerbasics.com. Here's the disclaimer. Seller Basics is not an insurer or law firm. Consultations come from independent firms. Results may vary, and membership is needed before events leading to claims. And terms apply. Okay, so now we can go to the wheel.
It's time for the Wheel of Kelsey.
All right, let's see the wheel.
All right. So thank you everyone for entering today's Wheel of Kelsey. I'll do this spin here. If you are the winner, please email me, kate@lunchwithnorm.com. And let's see who today's winner is. Looks like it's Steve.
All right, Steve.
Steve from Chicago. All right.
Yeah.
So Steve, if you can send me your shipping address, phone number, that would be great. And we'll connect you with Ross and get you that swag bag.
And next time we're on a cruise, Steve, I want to see you wearing it. Okay. So Ross, thanks a lot for coming on today. You got a great product, a great service, and can't wait to start using it.
Thanks for having me. Thanks, everyone.
You're very welcome. All right, everybody. I hope you enjoyed today's AI Wednesday. We'll be coming back on Friday with another return guest, one of my favorite people in the whole wide world. And that's going to be Lauren Petrullo. So she's been on before. She always delivers. And let's see, that's Friday. Kelsey, why don't you come on for a sec?
All right. Well, thank you everyone for watching today's episode. Like we said before, this is a completely free app or website that Ross has. So I was actually playing around with this during the break, and it's been great for me. So it's guidegeek.com. So check it out for yourself. I'm going to post in the WhatsApp group too, just to share with everyone. But I know a legendary studio is saying he's going to use it for his next trip. So yeah, let us know your experience with it. And I know it's a little bit different of a topic today. It's more about traveling as an entrepreneur. So hope you guys enjoyed it. And if you have any questions about future episodes or have suggestions for guests and topics, just reach out to me, kate@lunchwithnorm.com. And yeah, I think that's it.
All right. Well, thank you everybody for joining us today. I just want to talk very briefly about the different communities. We have 4 different types of communities. You can do them all or do one or just mix it up. So we have the podcast. We have the WhatsApp group, which is growing every day. We've also got subcategories within that WhatsApp group. We have the newsletter, which I'm loving it. I think Kelsey's doing a great job putting it together. It's one of his responsibilities every week. And I think if you haven't checked it out, you got to check it out at lunchwithnorm.beehive.com. Kelsey will probably put the link in there. But it's awesome. And I always start the newsletter off with a story from my past, which it's always true. It's what happened, whether you want to believe it or not, like the hijack and like the biker gang, and there's a whole bunch of them in there. So, and then finally, there's the Facebook group. That's it for today. Join us every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday at noon Eastern Standard Time. We'll see everybody later.
Lunch with Norm.